What's up, everybody? Welcome back. And I say welcome back, a little tongue-in-cheek. It's me and Marc who's been away, but it's been a minute. As Marc said earlier in the show, I'm Dave Gleckner. That's Marc Thomasini. We are Fourth and Go Heat Ratio Sports Network, Philly 4 for 4, and maybe a little 5 for 5 tonight as the Union are out there getting ready for a huge matchup coming up this weekend. But with that being said, we are so glad to be back talking sports, fired up. You know, there's a little lull in the summer sometimes, but right now we're starting to feel the heat of real sports action as the NFL kicks off tonight and into this weekend as the Eagles open up with the Ravens. But that's a lot said. Let me bring in Marc. How you doing, bud?
What up? What up? Things are good. You know, the heat's going up. The Phillies are on a heater. A lot of things are on fire right now. You know, the weather's come down a little bit, but we're still getting after it. And yeah, you know, there was a little lull there, but you know, now the Phillies they're hitting their stride. This team's starting to get like last year again. It's starting to get like last year again. The magic's there. The buzz is in the air. We're back, baby. We are back.
I love it. And you know what? When we last were on the air, it was just after the All-Star break. So, I mean, it's been only about 3 weeks, but we both had kind of a high level of confidence. Maybe mine was slightly higher, but we were right there. This team's making the playoffs. I went out to Pittsburgh, bud, and they lost 2 or 3 there. I mean, the one I was there, we got, and I just was like, oh man. I mean, it just didn't look right. We're in this like kind of mired in a funk. You know, 1-run games. We just find ways to lose them. And then we come home and we just don't have a really crisp series going on. And you had the Miami that was good on the road, but you lost one when you were up 5-0. It just felt like you just got 4 down there. And then something happened. They come back here to Kansas City and they decide to do a stadium, and they being Philly fans, the most awesome fans in the whole history of and on the face of this planet.
Yep.
And I think everybody who has played here knows that. Rallied. They did standing no for Trey Turner, who has been an absolute struggle machine. And something has clicked since then. 2 out of 3 Kansas City. Now 3 out of 4 Washington. And we can talk about last night. We'll get there. But, Marc, that's going to be a turning point. You said we're back, and I agree with you, but I feel like that might have been a turning point for this offense. 18 homers since that point in this homestand in 7 games. It's fantastic leading the MLB.
They're clubbing. They're out there with their rakes. They're getting after it. They're absolutely mashing the ball left and right. Look, now they're not facing the hardest teams ever. You know, they're playing the Royals, they're playing Nationals, all well and good, but it's MLB pitching. You're still going against MLB teams, especially Nationals. They are your division. Obviously, as you alluded to, they took one from us yesterday out of the doubleheader. It happens. But you just need that spark. And again, it just really seems like everything is lining up, that they're hitting their stride. The trade deadline just passed, and obviously we're really going to get into it with what happened the 2 nights ago, not last night.
No, I got you.
But, I mean, what happened last night with Michael Lorenzen, I mean, he's just been, an absolute rocket since he got here, and only 2 starts, pitching 17 innings. But it just seems like the magic is back, and I think they're riding it. I think, it felt like you're only as strong as your weakest link, and Turner was that weakest link, even though
JT and Nick.
I was just about to say, nobody's talking about JT. Now, JT had a homer tonight.
Yeah.
Good night, 2 walks, a single, and a homer, but nobody was saying anything about JT, who was also like batting 243.
He was batting under 200 at home. I know. Yeah. All the spotlight was on Trey, and a little bit rightfully so because of his error in Miami that did blow the game. It was
but Trey's been getting it all season.
Yeah,
and not that he doesn't deserve it, because you got to produce, you got that contract, but at the same time, this is not him sandbagging it for us.
Dude, I love him.
I'm
going to tell you right now, I love Trey Turner. Right? He's taking it like a man.
He's had to. He's
you don't always have to, right? But he does. He knows. He gets it, right?
He's not a guy who's going to get fat. It's just not going to happen.
No. No, look, Trey's bad and he knows it, and he just is trying so hard, and it's starting to work out. And again, big home run tonight, pretty much won the game for them.
Yeah.
Got him up 2-1. But with that, I got to talk about Dan Green. So glad to hear from you, man. I've been meaning to reach out, and I will soon, especially with the NFL season coming up. And I know how you love. You got your league there with your. I almost call it the Super League, sort of like how Vegas does the Super Contest. But I'd love to hear your comment on the Kelly Green, because Dan's nickname is old school, and we're both rocking it out tonight. So, and we will get to that in a minute. Another guy checking in. Love to hear from Adam. You are right. I did check the standings earlier today, Adam, and I was like, ooh, if we win, because I saw the Braves blew a 4-0 lead, lost 7-5 to the Pirates, lost 2 out there, actually, like we did. And I said, where would that put us? 9.5. Now, the funny thing about 9.5, it feels as close as we've been in about a decade. But the other funny thing, we're the furthest team in second place in all baseball. Every other one's within like 4 games. I mean, you got Minnesota that's coming here this weekend, barely over 500. Cleveland's 4 games under and 3.5 out. So it's a shame that that's who we got to battle with. But I'll say this, 9.5 just feels like as close as we've been in a while, and I'll take it. But man, Mark, I will say let's just, as much as we can really start to feel the good vibes, which we do, last night was as good of a vibes as we could ever feel, as Michael Lorenzen pitched the, I think, 14th no-hitter in Phillies history last night at the bank. And the most impressive part, I'll give you 2 things I thought were the most impressive things. And maybe you will agree, you can pick out another one, but one was the atmosphere. I mean, we're playing the Washington Nationals in the middle of a week on Wednesday, and that place is rocking. I mean, 40+ thousand, just love to see it. And the second, I've been critical of him of late, but for Topper to keep him out there with 114 pitches or so going in the 9th and let him finish it, not many coaches would do that, managers, I should say, and he did. And I got to give Topper and the fans a ton of credit for last night. I mean, the players had to do it, but those two, it doesn't happen without the trust and the atmosphere in that building.
Well, the thing is, before I get to that, because I just wanted to look up, because I knew they had to be ahead of a couple teams. If the Phillies were in either the AL or the NL Central, they would be in first place. In the AL, they'd be in first by 4 games, and in the Central, they'd be up by 2 games. So that's food for thought. Just,
it hurts, but I get it. Yeah. Hey,
look, wild card. You're right. You're in the division with who you're in the division with. Anyway, going back to your point, agree with you. We actually conversed about this on Twitter like last week or whatever ago it was, in regards to you drop Turner in the lineup and you bring Castellanos up the second, who had been slumping at the time. Now obviously it looks like a much better move, but Topper, I've been very frustrated with him a lot. And I mean, he even knows it. If he took Lorenzen out of the game last night, he really would have to wear a bulletproof vest. Like that's, he was like, I know I would have to. And I get it.
I agree, but it's like,
no,
you could be hurting the guy for the rest of the season. Like it's that thin of a line. It really is.
Where, it's a different time, but here's the one thing. He's become an innings eater, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Lorenzen. And look, I get it. I know you don't want to wear him out. I mean, honestly, it does seem like the stars kind of align for it because he came off of a good rest. He's got it. Like they said, it's 8 days until he pitches again. Now it's like a week from now.
True.
I think there's an off day or 2 in there. So that's why he's not pitching from 8 days from last night. But that needed to happen. It's a momentum thing. You know, they were clearly going to win the game. That was not the issue at all. If he walks 2 guys, then you pull him and just say, now your pitch counts up.
Oh, I think it was 1. I think if you got in the 9, like, yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying that's my leash, probably a little longer. I would have let him walk. Like if he
walk 1. Yeah.
After he walks the second guy, then it's like, all right, you've lost your stuff. But that's in hopes of him trying, because he may never, most likely, because most guys don't even do this. Some of the best pitchers never even sniff a no in their life. He may never do this again. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You're going to take that out. You're going to play God in that moment. I don't think so.
No, it was really cool. And Dan, you're right. 6-man rotation. No, I agree. It's no brainer. It was just, there's guys out there that just won't let him go. And I remember, and we all remember the days of 120 pitches was the norm. Like, and it's not like this guy's throwing a ton of like off speed. I mean, his off speed's more his changeup. It's got a little bit of a little curve there, but it's fastball changeup. Like, and I'm okay with that. Like, run him out there. And I think today he said he feels fine, maybe 10%. He said a little overexerted, but that's fine. It was magical.
That'll change the rest of his life. Trust me, it's worth it.
It will. And I'll just give a little perspective of the Gleckner household. I got 2 kids, 9 and 10 years old, that just watch every pitch anymore. Last night I had to get on a call for another media outlet, and I was like, "Boys, come watch it with me. We got to watch it together. I'll sit over here." And as soon as it happened, we all jumped up and hugged each other. Like, they saw their first no-hitter ever. I kind of remember mine. Like, there were a couple like back in the early days, but I think my most vivid memory is Terry Mulholland, and I think it was the Giants, and someone ripped the ball down the third baseline, and Charlie Hayes made a catch on the last play of the game, line drive to secure it. It's like those moments we'll always remember. I'm going to remember this one. I think they will too. That's what baseball's about, right? Kevin Millwood. I remember his no-hitter too. I was playing golf at Valley Brook. Someone offered me tickets that day. I was like, no, I'd rather golf. I'm not going to watch this. And then I'm out in the 12th hole. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Valley Brook's a dog track. What did I just do? And so you remember those things, right?
Yeah, of course.
And we had Halladay down in Miami.
Halladay with the perfect game in Miami.
Well, I was there for Halladay's perfect game in Miami. I was there for Halladay's no-hitter at the playoffs.
In the playoffs. Yeah.
So I got to see one.
Yeah, I was I remember just a funny story about the Halladay one in the playoffs against Cincinnati. I was visiting my friend. He was doing a hyper grad school at Vermont Law School. So we visited him up in Vermont.
Yeah.
Vermont Law School. And he was doing a 1-year grad school thing, whatever. And we were in his house that he was renting, and the ceilings were low. We all, around the 7th inning, I think 4 or 5 of us stood on the couch, not even this, on the top, the frame of the couch, the top of the couch, with our hands up to the ceiling like this, and we wouldn't get down until the game was over. We just kept standing on the couch for, I don't know why we did it, for whatever reason, but it was the craziest thing. And then we all, freaked out, and then we went out in Vermont that night. It was fun, but and I mean, nobody gave 2 shits except for us, because obviously we're up in New England. But yeah, no, you always remember those type of things. And
how about one more? There's another one. Do you remember another one?
Yeah.
Right around between Mulholland and Millwood.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about.
No, it might have been right before Mulholland. So Tommy Green, do you remember that name?
Yeah, I heard. Well, I saw it last night.
Okay, yeah, Montreal, if I remember right. That was cool. That might have, he was before Mulholland, so that might have been the first one I remember, vividly. Again, yeah. And he had a knuckle curve before anybody was throwing the knuckle curve. I like Tommy Green. He would have fit in well with the 93 Phillies. But it's pretty cool just thinking. And then obviously we had the most recent ones. Do you remember? Hamels. Your boy, I always call this guy your boy because I know you loved him. Odubel Herrera almost screwed up the one.
Yeah. I hate how you put me with Odubel Herrera. But yes, that was obviously right before he gets traded to Texas. What a time.
It's great. And then, great point. C's checking in. There was something else going on last night. You're right. Weston Wilson. I was driving around trying to get home, and I heard it on the air, and I was like, wow. And again, I'll go back to kind of my memory, how it works. Ricky Jordan was the first one that I kind of remembered hitting a homer in his first at bat. I know there's been some others since, not many. But yeah, that was pretty cool last night. And then I think he walked a couple times and stole a base. So it was 2 families having the time of their lives watching their husbands and sons play their first game ever at CBP and just lighting it up. I mean, baseball's amazing, isn't it?
I could only imagine, because somebody talked about it, but I didn't actually see, but what the odds were for both of those things to happen. got like you could
A
be
million to one? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I wonder if there was I doubt it. If there were, if there was a parlay for that, God could only imagine what the odds were on that.
I know. So it made me start thinking. This town is a special town. We all know, and that's why all of us are talking tonight. I I I always get like held up. What is this town from a sports perspective? It's football first, and no doubt, I'm not going to argue
Yeah.
that.
No.
I think it's baseball second. And I mean, we are a classic basketball city that has so many roots of how, we got obviously Sunny Hill and some of the old, Palestra and some of the real, roots of basketball. But this
Sure.
town, I think when you just watch what we saw the other night and you kind of reminisce about last year's playoffs, when the Phillies are good, I think it's baseball too.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look back at it, I mean, Philadelphia has had a baseball team here since the 1880s, even or before that. Like it, it's been a tradition so long. We go from the Athletics to the Phillies. Like Phillies have been one of the most losing teams in all of sports.
And they still might be number one. It's close.
Still might be.
Yeah.
I remember they got their 10,000th loss about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, something like that. It was something very big. But yes, with that being said, there's still so much history here. Like you said, there's plenty of basketball history here. We're not debating that. But there was like baseball just kind of it's a way to bring everybody together. It's by itself in the summer. I think a lot of people around here, like if you're not down the shore, something to do is go to the Phillies game.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that even when you are down the shore, like I almost watch more baseball when I'm down there than I'm here, and it's crazy.
I agree. What I
mean? Come back,
definitely listen to it.
On right.
Yeah.
It's I agree I would agree with you that baseball's 2, then basketball's 3.
So I could even argue in the right days, hockey's 3. That's how good of a hockey town we are. It's great. We're good at everything, but the team's got to be good.
Right. But I just remember like 2001 there was a takeover in 2001 when Iverson led them, when Iverson won MVP.
Yeah.
Every single car had, the big thing was to have the flag attached to your car.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Flags,
it was the black one.
Yeah.
I had.
Back when, so yeah, I'm probably always going to lead Sixers there, but
Yeah, no, I hear you. But back to the Phillies real fast before we transition on to
there's a lot of
other sports here. A lot of great comments. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I didn't know it was Gary Carter, or I didn't remember, but I just remember Charlie Hayes. That's awesome. That's a great memory there. Thanks for that. And Cease, I mean, he's right. Like he's talking about he's been to more Phillies games than he has Eagles. I mean, that's true. You get 81 of them, but it just the fact when I went out to Pittsburgh, and I'll recap that. The whole crowd, it was probably 60% Phillies. I sat in the first row.
I remember watching. I was red,
and it was a pretty cool event too. I want to give a shout out real quick. Pirates were awesome. Don't get me wrong; they were very. It was fun sitting next to them. It's like Phillies Pirates, not a rival.
No.
Penguins Flyers, we couldn't even talk. But it was cool hanging out, but more importantly, Nick Castellanos threw my son a ball and pointed at him, and he caught it. And I'm like, watching Nick hit a home run tonight, watching Nick in his relationship with Liam. Yeah. Nick struggles here sometimes. He struggled last year, but I'll tell you, he's a stand-up individual, and I got a lot of respect for that guy. So I just wanted to give that quick shout out. Like, dude, he's cool. I think this whole team is cool. Like, they got something going on. Like, they're a team. That's what I'm seeing. And that's why when we opened this and you said, we're back, we're feeling good, we're hot. Man, if they really, really find a way to string, just say one guy's off and you can string 7 or 8 of them together, they could be an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
The pitching is there.
To me, it's the team that Bryce built. He brought his, genuine attitude over here, and he's been the reason that this thing has grown into what it has. It really has. You're talking about Castellanos. Like, And he got into a little lull there after the All-Star break, but he's found it. He's found it again.
11 game winning streak.
So I was a little afraid. So last year, you can document this. Go back to last year's episodes. I said he'll be back. He'll be back.
You did. I agree.
Came back. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little nervous
right after All-Star break. Yeah, it was
rightfully so.
Yeah,
there was those long strikeouts where
swinging everything. Yeah,
right. But I heard an interview, I think it was like a week and a half ago, and he said, when I start doing bad, I almost go harder in that direction because I'm trying to catch up and think maybe it'll just happen at this point. But when he takes a step back from it, then he's able to reassess everything. And I think he's reassessed it. And it comes back to all the things that are going on and, giving their support behind Turner and everything like that. Like that stuff, it in this town, it means a lot more when you have the fan support. Like some people say, oh, the fans don't matter. Here it does. And especially with the Phillies, it does. This team, and they own it. Nobody's been pointing the fingers. Nobody's been blaming. It's been, just a great, great, great thing to say.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get into the one big thing I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, all this stuff's been great.
I know, because I have something too, but I want you to go first.
All right. So my big thing still is we cannot go into the playoffs. And I'm still assuming we're going to get there. And I feel really good about that because the teams, like I said before, chasing us are like teams like Cincinnati, Miami. They're just not built for that long run like we are. We're going to be fine. I really want to end up as the first wild card this year and get home field again. So I don't want to have to go through what we did last year. But with that being said, knowing that we're getting to the playoffs, because I really feel confident there has to be a lineup that is sustainable and repeatable. And right now, there hasn't been one in the past 2.5 weeks. And I get some buttons he's pressing have been fine. Turner 7, Turner leadoff, Turner 4th. The one I can't do the Schwarber thing anymore. I'm done. Like I was with you guys like for a while. I would fight and be like, yeah, we're at least hitting home runs. I can't do 180 in the leadoff spot, and I can't do a tractor trailer in the leadoff spot. He got thrown out at third the other day, and I was like, that's it. That was like my a hit right field, and I gotta get your opinion here. What would be Marc Tomasini's perfect lineup or preferred? I mean, perfect is
it's tough because I feel like it's intermingled. I was just thinking about this the other day. Honestly, I really like Stott at 1. Stott has been a hell of a player this year.
Here's the team in stolen bases, like tied with Turner. Like that's awesome. Yeah,
right. You could go here because I was originally going to go Bohm 2, but I think if you go Turner 2,
I like it.
If you got the Turner that you have now, so you got Stott 1, Turner 2. Bohm 3, Harper 4. I know everybody likes Harper at 3. I get it. And I know
I don't hate what you're saying.
Right. The only thing is Harper's been batting like a leadoff hitter, but he's starting to find his power back. So you know what? Put him in that power role. Hopefully he's just getting stronger as the season goes on. So you got Harper at cleanup, Castellanos at 5. You can go Schwarber at 6. Then Romuto at 7. I'm trying to think of who else. I know Rojas is in there. I'm just trying to think if I want Rojas 9 to turn the lineup over.
I do. And then that utility infielder right now at 8.
Right. Because who do we got?
Well, it was Wilson the past 2 nights. Sometimes it's,
Yeah, we're right. Because March is out. That's why. Because March is out. So we've had, So, you could have, insert right fielder or left fielder who's in there. And then Rojas at 9 to turn the lineup over. Now, a week or 2 ago, I wanted Rojas towards the top of the lineup because of the way he was hitting and his speed. But now that everybody's kind of figuring out their place, I'm good with him being that, extended 1.
I'm not far off. I'm going to go Stott, Turner. I will keep Harper at 3 because it's just, it's what got us there last year. It's what he's used to. And like you said, he's the leader. It's the team Bryce built. And then I like Casty 4. I like Boone 5. So we're only on the flip of Harper and Cassie. I like Realmuto 6. I think that's a great spot for him. And then I'm with you. It's like, I guess, Boone was 6. Realmuto, Boone was 5. Realmuto 6. Then, you're going with whatever you got from a utility infield position, right? And then you got the fourth outfield, and Rojas 9. Yeah, that's what I got. Yep.
Wait, so where do you have Schwarber 7?
Oh, sure. I'm sure you're right. Sorry, that's what I forgot. Yeah,
So
Schwarber
it's,
7.
7 and 8 is either Schwarber and ex outfielder,
Yeah,
whoever.
that's what it was. It's Schwarber. I could even contemplate putting Schwarber 6, JT 7,
Right.
just
I
to
think
give an
that's
extra.
what I had.
Yeah, because then you'll get like Stott 1, Harper 3, and then you get a lefty at 6. It's kind of really split up well. Where if you get Schwarber down at 7, then you're getting near the Stott range for late inning reliever. So no, I'm with you. I really think Stott has proven himself as the best hitter on this team.
Yeah.
No doubt. And
Now,
I love him.
With him, I think everybody forgets because I think he came in. I think he was drafted the year that we signed Harper. I think he was drafted at 19. He was a first round pick. Everybody kind of like forgot like he was as high of a pick that he was too. I think he was like 10 or something like that. Like, and he's actually a really great hitter because a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to hit the level. His 2-strike fouling, I mean, he's been fantastic. And he did it last year. And he's continuing it this year. He fights off pitchers so bad that he lulls them into giving him something to hit. Yeah. And then he does. It's Utley like.
It is.
Comes compact. He comes through the zone, and he'll go up. He'll go down. He's got range. Like again, he's most likely not going to power the bomb ball out of the park, but he gives it to you. He gives you clutch hits. He gets singles and doubles on the regular. Like. It's really he puts on a clinic up there. Like you wouldn't
no step. He's all stride. He never stepped. Yeah, I love it.
He's very relaxed. It's not either no wasted effort.
Yeah, look at Dan's lineup, and I think that's a really good one. I'm close in there. I get it because then you could put Schwarber at 5. And you really got that 4-5 power combo because Castellanos up to 20 homers, Schwarber at 30. So you got 50 right in the middle there, and Bowman's your protection at 6.
Yeah, I
might think about that one better for me too. And then you're really going lefty, righty, and then and whatever you want to do, like you said at the bottom, you're going to go righty, but you could end up with a couple decent guys at 8, 9, and Adam brings up a point. My kids hate Cave. I'm going to be honest with you. They think he's like 73 years old, and I mean, it makes me feel great, right? I got a gray beard, but I'm indifferent on Cave, and I'll say this much with him: he's been raking in the minors, like 320, and he's deserved his spot up here from that point.
And he's made most of his opportunities.
He has. He's just
like that that one Baltimore game. He had a really good game, and he
had a homer the other day to center field. I think versus KC.
Yeah,
I mean, if I see Cave once a week, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
how's that?
Yeah,
I don't need more Cave.
No,
I need less Cave. But he doesn't scare me in the outfield, and at least he gives me a lefty bat. Like tonight, I think they overreacted and put him in a little earlier than they needed to and took Wilson out. But they were able to get the lead, and that was fine. But the other point of Cave that I don't necessarily like, and maybe it was 1 game, 2 games, but man, he stands like a country mile away from the plate. So we're not going to see him pull the ball. He is a straight oppo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's another point, and I agree with you. I think Cody Clemens hit another home run tonight down in the minors. So, it's tough with Cody. Like, he had his flashes here.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, wow. And then he was just bad. So, it's I would like to see him back up, but I think he's more utility infielder position. Yeah. And I agree. Marsh will be back in 8th, and I love Marsh in 8th. I just really do. He's really become – I hate him in the outfield, by the way. I don't know what happened. Like we were supposed to get this Gold Glove outfielder. God, he scares me. And the Phillies, for all their whatever they're doing, Rojas is their center fielder even when Marsh is in. They've been putting Marsh in.
No, they've moved Marsh to left and I'm good with it.
Yeah. Oh, Clemens hit 3 tonight. I had heard the first one. I didn't know he hit 3. Well, good for him. And you know what? If they get an injury, I know Derek Hall hit 1 too. I think I heard earlier that was a bomb. So I'm good with Hall down there. But, remember, and I know you guys all know this, a couple weeks, they're all coming up. Rosters expanded by 5-10 guys. So we'll see those guys get back up here pretty quickly. One thing I did feel a little bad about, and I mean, it happened last year too when they cut Didi. and really gave the role a start. And it was the right move. Josh Harrison isn't great, but God, this guy that brought in Castro from the Pittsburgh Pirates hasn't. He hasn't touched it. I mean, he won the warning track one day. Other than that, it's been whiff. And I'm like, for all that, Harrison went through spring training and went through a lot with this team. I was like, I could have been fine with Harrison.
Did I miss? Well, no, I was at my wit's end with Harrison, to be honest. I couldn't stand.
Where are you? Okay.
I loved Harrison a couple years ago as a, I think like a Pirate. I think he was good.
Yeah. Ranger. I think Texas he played well.
Like he was good for, a couple other teams, but he's cost them games. He's tried to do too much. He's tried to make diving plays in the outfield, tried to make diving plays at second base, and led to runs. And it's, to me, and he hasn't been able to do anything but and everyone's like, oh, Castro's a better version of him. I mean, I haven't seen it. I'd just rather see Sosa. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of his hitting, but it hasn't been terrible. He had a big home run a week or two ago. And Sosa's a reliable infielder, and give me Sosa every time. I mean, we didn't give up anything because Bailey faltered. He just, fell off a cliff. We
gave up nothing.
Whatever happened to him, he was great for us last year. Sanchez kind of took over that role for him this year, so we didn't give up anything of note for Castro. But I would just rather see Sosa at this point.
So Dan brings up a great question. I remember you bringing this up last year in the World Series, and there was a time I was like, "Whoa, you're right! Like, why didn't he just about?" I think at the time it was Sosa or something like. In the ninth innings, he just wouldn't play for defense. All right, so you want to ask? I'm going to answer with who's on the roster now because there's some potential for Rhys Hoskins even coming back. There's obviously March has a chance to be back.
Well, let's not line up Rhys in defense.
No, but we don't have a first baseman. So I mean, I know I don't love Rhys at first. I agree, but Harper is he's athletic, but he's taking balls second baseman should play. All right, I'll go Bowman first. This is late ninth inning. Stott second, obviously Turner short, and love Sosa at third. Outfield, I would go March left, Rojas center, and I'll give Nick his due out. Yeah. I think he's been great. Yeah. That's where I would
substitute him out. No, absolutely not. I mean, he came up biggest in the playoffs.
He did, and he's been really a solid right fielder this year too.
Because remember, last year it was like almost everybody thought that Castellanos was worse than Schwarber out there. But I mean, obviously now it's night and day. I think Castellanos, he built up his confidence from the playoffs last year. He hasn't really been making any mistakes. I mean, there's some balls he's just not going to get to, but not many would. But besides that, I think he's been a more than, wouldn't say above average, but pretty, definitely above average, but not above that. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree, Dan. It was Hoskins was bad last year. And Sosa was there. So you're right. You traded for Sosa for one thing. It wasn't his bat.
It was his defense.
Yeah. So I agree. But yeah, Adam, you're asking next year? I'm telling you, you're going to see him on a playoff roster this year. He tore his ACL, I think it was March 30th. It was right near the end of spring training. And normally those injuries, back in the day were 9-month injuries, but in baseball, 6-month injury. We're targeting the end of September. Now, here's going to be the tricky part. Do you have him dressed up as kind of like that rah-rah guy? That Dwight Howard on the Sixers bench kind of guy. That's what I would do. I wouldn't really have a lot of faith.
You can't.
Putting him in, having no reps all year, unless you're batting
he's not going to get any minor league action.
Yeah, unless you're DH batting him eighth. That's the only way I like. Yeah. If I'm sitting here saying I'd rather have him over Wes Wilson, no doubt. Yeah, he's in, right? Him over Kate,
right.
But I think you're going to see him dress in the playoffs. I think they're going to find a way. I don't know. I mean, it's a bat that can hit 30 homers. if he plays DH, Dan, you're saying he screws the DH spot up, but does he? Like he doesn't screw it up. He screws up late in games. I get
but you're taking Schwarber out of the lineup, or you're putting Schwarber in left, and it's like, do you really want to take that chance too? That's what you got to think about. I think that's
true. I mean,
it really does screw things up. I think you got to be comfortable with him being able to play first.
Yeah, I got you. Schwarber is so bad in the outfield that you're right. You guys are right. Yeah, you guys are right.
It's a shame. He's this year he's been bad. It's hurt us.
No, you're right. And then if you take Schwarber DH, then you can't put Bryce in the outfield. So yeah, maybe he can dress and not be on the roster and just hang on the bench like he is now.
I mean, that's essentially what he's at. That's what he's doing.
I guess the bigger question is, isn't he arbitration eligible like Nola? I feel like not ARB eligible, like free agent eligible. I think both of them.
What do you mean by free agent eligible?
I think they ran. What's that?
I was going to say they're both free agents this year.
That's what I mean. Like they ran their arbitration out. They can go out and be a free agent now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because first, when it comes to the Hoskins thing, I wonder if a question is, or I'll ask you this question: what's your percentage that he's back on this team next year? Hoskins first.
I think Hoskins has a higher than 50% chance. I think they value his that he's been here forever, that he has this relationship with the hitters and Harper. And if Harper's elbow is back and fine and they can put him back in the outfield, I think there's a way to get Hoskins maybe on a 1-year deal. Coming off an injury is the key, right?
Right.
You could probably get lucky and maybe get him to settle for like a $20 million, maybe 1-year deal, 2 years. So I think there's a better than 50 for Hoskins. Now, the next guy you're going to ask me about, I have a different answer.
I want to. So, with Hoskins, to me, I think it's 20%, but that's bigger than what I thought, because I thought it was like 5% going into the season. I really thought that they were going to just cut ties with him. Yeah. But the injury does make him more affordable, because had he been healthy, had he hit 30 home runs, an AL team, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. It's NL, but like, I guess, because the DH is everywhere.
No, but he's too expensive. That's a good point. If he hits 30, he's too expensive.
He hits 30, he's too expensive. He would have been, he would be looking for a 5-year, 120 type of deal, something along those lines, like at least maybe 150. If he went, he hits 35, something like that, he's going to be demanding the money. I don't know if I want to ask you the percentage of what he comes back first, or if I want to get out my grievances first.
You go grievances. Let me just answer, Dan. You're right. I mean, we all had frustrations with Hoskins. Maybe time he has healed the wounds and him being out made me think that we need him a little bit. Yeah. I know we don't. I get it. But if he comes back with a guy that can hit 27 home runs and bat 260, and I can get him for under $20 million for 1 year, I'd probably fly it. But I'm not getting him anywhere near any long-term deal.
No. It would have to be a 1 year, maybe 1 year with a player option or a team option for the second year. I think that's the most that you can afford to do.
So go on your rant, and I'll answer your.
All right. So there was a projected, a prediction, from ESPN of what Aaron Nola could get on the open market. 5 years, 110 or 120. It was one of the two. Right now, Dave, would you do it?
See ya.
Yeah, see ya. It's so frustrating, because I knew what was going to happen. I don't know if you'll remember his start in Tampa Bay about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, we swept him.
Yeah, we swept him. He had a fantastic game. I think he had 12 Ks. I think he pitched like 7 2/3 or 8 innings, something like that. And everyone's like, "That's the Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola's back." I said, "Just you wait." Like, I didn't want to be right about it, but it was a just you wait. This guy has no consistency. It's so frustrating, because I've always wanted to believe in him, but what he's done the last 4 or 5 games, and this is against the Royals, this is against the Nationals, this is against who, what, when, where, and why. Like
Dude,
he's
he couldn't get
against
through 5
Pittsburgh.
innings.
Against Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
right? Were you there at the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so man, we were up 5-1. I want to say.
Right.
Blew it. Yeah.
And he just blew it. I'm done. It's unfortunate. I've lost most of my confidence with him after tonight. I would say, and Wheeler has not been as bad, but he hasn't been as sharp lately. He's kind of fallen off a little bit of a cliff too. Not nearly as bad, but he's kind of fallen off of a cliff too. But right now, I'm looking Taiwan, Lorenzen. Ranger's been shaky. And then, we'll see how Sanchez does. And it's not like you're actually going to go with these guys over Wheeler and Nola in the playoffs, but I'm just telling you, the frustration level is at an all-time high with especially Nola, but somewhat with Wheeler too. I just had to get that off my chest.
No, I agree. Yeah, Dan's saying here, best homer in the market. I got you, Dan, but I'm still not doing 5 years. Like, there's just no way. This guy has regressed every single year. He is a model of consistency from the standpoint he will eat innings. He'll get you some Ks. I love all that stuff, but just the problem with his home run balls this year, it's just they're unexplainable from the standpoint, or inexplicable, that he just leaves the ball up. And it happened again when they rolled him out there in the 6th inning. They roll him out there, and he gets hit by Joey Meneses' little chopper, but then he tries to jam Ruiz in, and he gets it up, and he rips a double. And
they went to the same exact spot in the field.
Yeah,
they went to the same exact spot.
What's up, Dave? Thanks for checking in. Expos, we talked about them earlier. Detroit Tigers. The funny thing, and here's the thing about the Detroit Tigers, they're closer to first place than we are, the Phillies. I think they're 7 games out.
Yeah.
And we're 9.5. But, the Tigers are getting better. They really are, because of the young talent over time. Riley Green, big fan of. Spencer Torkelson. But, yeah, they got a chance, especially in that division. Dan Lorenzen is a free agent. Got it. Would you rather pay him, 2-3 years on a decent market value, or Nola? It's a tough call. I think the Phillies are going to pay for a pitcher in the offseason. They paid for offense. They're locked up there.
Yeah.
But the best point was one of them, Griff, Mick, or Painter. I know, and the Painter story was so sad, because I really saw big things this year.
Yeah.
Painter. So, hopefully one of them next year. Mick has still got a little control issues, but he's getting better. And Griff just doesn't have their stuff, but I don't know. Taiwan Walker doesn't have stuff, and he finds a way.
Yeah, I know. I think Griff's thing is, though, compared to Walker, is Griff, from what it sounds like, he walks a decent amount of guys. That's just it's a control issue. That's all. That's his thing. But I'm telling you, I'm not. You'd have to get me. I don't even know. I don't want to say 3 years, $90 million, because that's too much per year. But and I know there's not a salary cap, but I don't want 5 years of Nola.
No, if you're 3 years,
if I'm already fed up with him when he's supposed to be in his prime, why would I want him?
375. I'm in.
5 years.
375. We can cut the deal today. I'll live with that.
Right.
I will, because he's going to turn into your 4th starter by the time these guys Mick or Painter.
Right. If you can, bring back, if everybody can just reel it in and just be like, he's not an ace. He never was. He was always a 2. He was always a really good 2. Like a really good 2. I'm not trying to downplay him. Not saying he was never good, but at this point, he doesn't have longevity anymore. Like you said, 6th inning comes around. I texted my friends. I said, I want to see what I say tonight. I said, love a Nola blow-up inning. Glad Topper pulled the plug quick.
Yep.
Because you just see it writing on the wall.
I would like to maybe not to come out. He had 96 pitches coming in that inning, and a bullpen fully rested, by the way. But all right, I could talk baseball for the full hour, but I want to just do one thing real fast. You had a quick rant. You didn't get too Marc heavy, but I liked it. I want to get Dave heavy on one thing real fast in the MLB. the Baltimore Orioles are one of those teams that everybody's kind of been rallying around, and for good reason. They've been kind of a laughingstock of baseball.
Right.
And we want to cheer for the laughingstocks at times.
Right.
Until recently, when their head announcer Kevin Brown just made a casual statement that the Orioles can't win in Tampa Bay, and even was reading off a graphic that the team produced for him. Yes. And then all of a sudden he disappeared for 10 days. And then the Athletic did a little digging and found out that he's pretty much been put in the corner with a cone on his head, and doing some radio for them because 94-year-old owner Peter Angelos doesn't like when people talk bad about his team, even the guys that he pays for. And he just sat there and suspended his guy who did nothing wrong, but just say a simple statement. And you just sit there and ostracize this guy for no good reason. Guess what, Peter Angelos? I hope you guys lose. And I hope you guys lose soon, because for all the good things that you were doing, all these young players that I want to cheer for, you're the jerk off. And I can't stand old guys that have no touch to reality just because someone wants to, he didn't even talk bad. Free Kevin Brown. I hear he's coming back tomorrow, but guess what? I don't care. You ruined my taste for the Orioles. Go Rays. And God, I don't even know why I'm saying this. Go Jays, go Red Sox, not go Yankees.
I was going to say, whoa, calm down. Yeah. It's never go Yankees. No, it's stupid. But you know what, though? In the end, this Kevin Brown kid, he's going to get more opportunities.
Good.
Things are going to work out. It always does in these types of scenarios where somebody gets called out for doing the wrong thing. Something good is going to come his way. And exactly like kind of what you said, like the graphic was up there. So did the whole graphic team get suspended? No, I didn't hear anything about that. You know what I mean? And literally they were stating facts. It was just like, we haven't been able to win a series against the Rays and God knows how long. And now the whole point is they're celebrating the fact that you have the chance to do it that day. To finally do something that you haven't done in 3 years or 5 years, or out of the last 21 series you played against the Rays, or they're 3-24 and whatever.
Yeah.
It's stupidity. It's stupidity.
And you took all this good mojo that everybody's excited.
Right.
You're the
when the Orioles missed the playoffs and they don't even get on the wild card, you can thank Angelos.
You're right. You're that team that's up against all these big salaries, all these big payrolls, and all except for Tampa. But they have a fantastic record in the past 10 years. Yeah. And you're the underdog. And you're that guy that you're that team that everybody wants to kind of rally around. And you just ruin that.
Yeah.
You're just an idiot. And I'm sorry. I was just appalled by it because I do like some of those, or I like Rushman. I watched him at the home run derby. I was like, dude, he's cool, man. And some of the other guys, Gunnar Henderson, some of the young kids, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander, you all felt good about.
Yeah.
And he just spits on it. But anyway, hey, we got about 15 minutes left here. I want to talk Kelly Green. I know Dan brought up he's heading out, but thanks for checking in tonight, Dan. And he earlier said, well, we asked him about it, and I love it because, like I said, he is old school. Love the Kelly Green. And we got the news while we were away in the past 2 weeks that the Eagles are wearing the Kelly Green this year. Marc's got one of those jerseys. I'm getting one. It's on its way. I can't wait. I went with Hertz, by the way. I see you're rocking the Slim Reaper there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where'd you get it? Did you go down to?
No, online.
Nice.
Scouted online. I got Allie, Jalen Hurts, but the thing is, I got her a youth extra large, so save myself some money there.
Dude, that's awesome. I get my kids those all the time.
In hopes that fits.
Yep.
But hers isn't coming until September.
Yeah.
But issue is the first time that they wear it,
Miami.
Right. I'm going to be on my honeymoon in Greece.
Oh, wear it out there,
I'm gonna be up. No. So I will be up at. I have to determine. I have to see, I guess, how the day goes.
It's about 6 hours.
It's 9.
Greece is 9. Germany's 6. So Greece is a little okay.
Yeah, I think it was 8 or 9 hours. Okay. Do I take a nap during the day, at some point, or do wake up for the game, or do I just stay up?
Well,
Like
so
that's
you'll
it'll be
be
like
like
3 o'clock in the morning there.
I was gonna say, so you'll be
Because
ahead.
it's prime time.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's an 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you take that nap. You get
yeah.
ready. Yeah. Good for you. But I mean, you can't miss that. Obviously,
No, the whole point.
first
But the
time
good
wearing
thing is they wear them twice, so we'll definitely be rocking.
Buffalo.
I know she'll be sleeping. I know she'll be sleeping.
That's okay. She could sleep
But
in the medium.
yeah, she'll sleep in that. I'll take a picture. I'll be probably watching on an iPad at that point, and
Yeah,
as I have some internet. But the good thing is, a month later, they wear it again against the Bills. So
yeah. What's I think that's week 7 and 11 or the 2 weeks they're
I
wearing
think
them.
yes, I think 7 and 11.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Again, what a good 7-Eleven, little good analogy there. But I mean, it's been a long time coming, right? And I think some of the news was you
Yeah.
had to have the helmet match the uniform, but you're
Well,
only
you could
allowed
only
2
have
different helmets, and then they finally freed one up, I think.
right. And the thing is, so they're doing. It seems like they're doing away with the black, unless they keep the black jerseys with the green helmet, which was fine. I don't think there
Yeah,
was never an issue.
yeah.
Last year, obviously, the big thing was the all black, just black from top to bottom, because they always had the green helmet. Now they have the Kelly green helmet and the regular. I think they could still rock the black with the green. We'll see, but because I think you're allowed to have 4 jerseys.
Yeah, that's what opened up. It's just the helmet. I'm not sure how many you're allowed to have, but
Right.
it's gonna be fresh. It's gonna be
Because then it
now,
would be black, white,
and it
green,
was
and
white
then
pants,
color
right?
green.
I think I saw white pants.
I think it might be gray. Is it?
I'll have to look at it, but it had the green piping, which is all I cared about. Like it's gonna be,
Yeah, of course, of course.
yeah, it's gonna be so good. I can't wait. That's one of the big stories, obviously, for us Eagles fans here, that we're bringing back a piece of our childhood days of the Randall Cunningham, Buddy Ryan, Reggie White.
Yeah, I think it's gray, the gray pants.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dan said Seth Joyner, 59 is what I
Yeah.
remember him as. We can think Jerome Brown, even, all the good stuff. It's going to be great having them back. But let's talk what's on the field right now. And
Yes.
Mark, it's hard for me to get kind of in touch with this team. When you practice one day, you're off the next. Practice one day, you only have one public practice. It's just like I can't get a real good consistency. But one of the interesting things I heard today was no matter what we're able to see or what we're hearing, one thing that's coming out of camp right now is Kenneth Gainwell is the number 1 running back. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, I am all in on that. I'm like, I love having DeAndre Swift. He can be our change of pace, guy that comes in and shares, gets 40%. Gainwell gets 6. I'm a big Gainwell guy, always have been, out of the University of Memphis. But have you been hearing similar things?
I heard the same thing for the first time today. I think John McMullen, who's pretty well respected when it comes to it, he's not somebody who's trying to make hot takes. He said, and I saw a breakdown too, that Gainwell has gotten most of the snaps.
Yeah, that came out of Elliott Shore Parks.
Elliott Shore Parks.
Yeah.
Because he tracks all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, me and you, even before we drafted him, we both kind of circled Gainwell as somebody who would be a nice steal back. And was he 5th round?
Something around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like a 5th round. I think it was a 5th round pick, but we both knew Gainwell because Memphis has this string of producing good running backs over the last, I would say 8 to 10 years. They've been able to, you got Tony Pollards of the world. Benny Snell, he really hasn't hit hard, but there was also somebody else before Benny Snell that hit it pretty big too. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm hoping. I'm a huge DeAndre Swift fan. That's why I'm kind of hoping it was the other way around. It's 60-40 DeAndre. But if it happens to be this way, here's the thing. I mean, Gainwell ran so effectively in the playoffs.
Yes.
Against both the Giants and the Niners. He was cutting through both of those defenses. I feel like a lot of people have been knocking him because he's not as good between the tackles, but I don't know if I fully agree. I think he could probably get a little better vision. I think he's done a lot with bouncing stuff off the outside. He's no Miles Sanders in that case because Miles Sanders just stunk. But but I felt like he does a lot of damage, and I think he makes guys miss, but not in a jukey type of way, just like finding the beeline, finding the line once he gets to that second level. I feel like he's able to just keep runs going, especially at a guy that small. Now, the only thing is, I don't know if he will actually finish up when all said and done, just because he's not big enough to take on running back one responsibilities. Now, I mean, they're probably going to go some kind of committee, obviously. I mean, like I said, I'm with you. Swift and Gainwell, if they were the only two running backs on the team, I'd be super stoked. You know, nothing against Boston Scott. I know he's a giant killer. Nothing against Trey Sermon. They still like him so much. And nothing against Rashad Penny, who actually has been really good, but in limited, he's going to get hurt at some point. I love I would guess my order would probably be Swift, Gainwell, Penny, Scott, Sermon.
Yeah.
Everybody's making a big deal because Sermon's was not cut at all last year, or he was kept on the 53-man just because they wanted to hold on to his rights.
Yeah. And I still like Penny, and you gotta hold on to him for now. You can't keep 5 running backs. So at some point it's gonna be between Sermon and Scott.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't know. I love Scott. We all love Scott, but at this point, I mean,
somebody else can do it.
Yeah, they can.
Somebody else can score touchdowns against the Giants. I mean, the first game we played them, you know,
I agree.
Again, I like the guy. It has nothing to do with it. But I mean, if we're talking about who we really want here, you know.
Now, some other interesting news that came out earlier this week, end of last week. 2 linebackers signed in a Howie Roseman type of backdoor, I got you looking.
Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah, Zach Cunningham,
who led the league in tackles a couple of years ago. I think it was 2020.
And we got Miles Jack,
you know, both of them
top 10 pick, I think originally from Jacksonville.
I think Jack was 16 and Cunningham was 17. They were both first round picks.
Yeah.
But Miles Jack really showed a lot, especially in Jacksonville. He showed,
and he's impressing so far. He's
already first team reps. I think Cunningham is more of a depth move just to solidify them and to be a backup option.
What does that say to Nakobe Dean?
So it's in part his ankle, obviously. He's dealing with an injury, but in part. The other unfortunate part that we are going to have to admit, but don't want to admit, there's a reason why he fell to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's who was saying it the other day? I was listening to the radio and they were like, he probably really only has one of the 3 traits that you need for a linebacker. He doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the speed, but he has the instincts. That's all he has. I think he could be a leader. I think he could be a guy that, you know, is the signal caller out there, but I don't think he can play. You know, he's got tight hips, so he's not going to be able to cover tight ends, because that's really what they use them more for. Because you think about it, like your Nolan Smiths and your Hassan Reddicks are the, you know, outside linebackers who are going to blitz up the edge. They play like a hybrid of, you know, hand in the ground versus not, or standing up. You know, obviously they're D ends, but they play that hybrid linebacker type role. Nakobe doesn't do that. He's not fast enough. And it is totally different. Like I said, size and speed, he doesn't have really either of them. It's unfortunate. I know we were all really excited about it. I mean, I know you and I really like Devin Lloyd a lot more, who, you know, turned out to be a pretty good pro so far. But, you know, they weren't going that route. And obviously you look back to that draft, I think they did okay.
Yeah, and that's another point I want to bring up to you. I've heard some mixed, feelings about Jordan Davis. And some say he'll never, and Elliot Shorr-Park would bring him up again and say he'll never be something. Then I'm reading, a guy out there very well respected in the, overall NFL community, Bill Barnwell from ESPN, said Jordan Davis is a breakout type player this year. I'm like, where are we getting ESPN and Bill Barnwell on this wide range of things? Because you mentioned, just because you brought up, Devin Lloyd and where we liked, and Jordan Davis getting drafted in the same draft. What do you hear now there? Because right now I'm hearing he's looking a lot better.
I heard the conditioning's good. I heard him on the radio. I think he's, getting a fit for the team kind of understanding his role, what he needs to do, how he needs to condition. So I think that's all good on that front. But I'm going to go back to my issues with him going into the draft last year. He was a guy who at Georgia in college did not play on third down.
Yeah,
He was not.
I know.
And he's good because the thing is, he's got to be productive on third down. He's got to be a pass rusher if he's really going to want to stick and have the impact. Because if teams know that he's only going to be in there on rushing down, they're going to, if they're preparing for the Eagles, they're going to say, we're going to need to bust out more of our RPO stuff. And, because the whole thing is, he's a one-trick pony. He's rushing up the middle to try and stop the run. Once you bounce to the outside or bounce the running back to the outside, and you're able to kind of pancake him in there with the guard or something like that. If, especially if like, say one of, Sweat or Reddick's not out there, like they'll have options to be able to stop Jordan Davis from stopping the run.
Yep.
And then that you dilute him. And now you've spent, the 13th overall pick on a guy that, may never be consistent.
So last question before we get off the Eagles. Does Jalen Hurts and the first team offense play on Saturday night?
No.
Yeah, that's where I was at. I just don't. They're getting their reps in against these teams and these and they got one coming up against the Colts soon in these competitive practices. We'll say scrimmages. I don't think we ever see him in a preseason game.
We might see a series maybe in the second game. That would be my guess.
Yeah, but if you got all those reps in these tough practices, why come out? Yeah, I hear you.
No, I'm just saying if they want to say we'll do a series or two just to, and we won't bring out our real stuff. I mean, there's going to be no tush pushes or anything like that. It's going to be dump off there. Maybe they'll work on the screen game just to see what they have with Swift and so on and so forth. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him at all. But we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying. I'm just saying my guess, if we do see them, is the second game series.
I think that's the home game. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, we're getting into tight end. I don't want to go too much further because I don't want to lose any interest. But real quick here, Sixers, hearing anything on the Harden front?
So I've heard that they plan on re-engaging the Sixers and the Clippers.
It's the only thing that will get it done, I think.
It's the only thing that will get it done. I mean, I both teams know that they have to get it done.
And we're not going to get much. We're going to get some fringe. If I could find a way to get what's his name that was in Toronto. I'm seeing his face now. I know Terrence Mann. Huh?
Norman Powell?
Yeah, Norman Powell. If I could find a way to mix Powell and Mann.
Right now it's been Powell, Marcus Morris, and draft picks.
Yeah.
That's for Darryl, that's not going to get it done.
No, that's what I'm thinking. If you can get Mann coming
they
back.
want Mann, but even Mann, does that really move the needle? I mean, that's probably if you
he's young.
I know. I mean, was he playing 16 to 21 minutes and he's giving you 8 points? I'm not against it. I know he's got potential and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks. It's a really crap situation to kind of be in. The best outcome would be if you could get a third team involved, somebody with an asset, somebody that wants to unload. I don't know how, but
yeah, I agree. And the Dame days are over. I don't think I was never there because it had to be.
Oh no,
yeah, I'm good. I don't even want him here. Like I said, 34 years old, and you want to act like that's all you want to go to is playing Miami thing. I'm good. I'm.
I saw something that had the Utah Jazz involved. And was it Utah? Yeah.
I saw some stuff about Utah. Yeah.
That now I don't know if this would happen or not, but in a way, Lauri Markkanen gets here. And I think Colin Sexton goes over to the Clippers with Harden. And then the Jazz get just a bunch of bodies.
I'm not
we would get Robert Covington as well.
Yeah, Markkanen's like he'd fit well with Embiid because he can
Right.
play. Like, he doesn't post up. He's like kind of off the ball big man.
He can be and he could, if anything, play more of a stretch 4.
And then you can put Toby back at the 3.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, you got Maxey and Melton, or
I'd probably go Milton. I probably would. I mean, I don't think you go Maxey, Pat Bev.
no, especially for what they signed him for. They signed him. Yeah, the contract kind of speaks to him not being a starter.
Yep.
Money. I mean, Melton, he 75% of the time, I think he showed up for you. I think there were some games where he even, would go off and, like hit 5 threes and stuff like that. And his defense is good and he's tough.
I like him. And I mean, with Harden, like how can you play with that when the guy's pounding the ball 50 times down to 3 seconds of the shot clock?
Right.
But
I think we still got more with Melton coming. So
I agree. Now, listen, we're going to roll out of here and make it a true 4-for-4. One thing I'll make a point of, I'm not going to go Flyers, but I'm going to talk Union real fast. They're playing in the Leagues Cup, and what's interesting about that, tomorrow night's a quarterfinal here in Philadelphia against one of the Mexican teams. I think they're called Cordero. What happened, the Union played them early in this kind of cup. It's a MLS versus Mexican teams, and they beat them 5-1. So I'm feeling really good about this one. Could propel us to the semifinals. What's important about that?
I know where you're going.
Messi.
Inter Milan. Inter Miami. I'm sorry.
Inter Miami.
I don't know why I said Inter Milan, but yeah.
And by the way, those jerseys are fresh, and he is making such an impact on football, but really what I call soccer in America here. 7 goals in his last 4 games. It's fun to watch, and if the Union could play him with our chippiness as the coach and everything, I think it would be really fun.
Yeah, I mean, he just shows how superior he is at his age compared to all the talent in MLS. It's something else.
It's amazing, and it is turned into an incredible atmosphere wherever he goes, and it just brings hope that can. That the MLS is doing well. I mean, I think they're up to 30 teams. Like, they're doing well. But this is really the next big step for them. So good on the Union. Good luck tomorrow night. And with that said, what's up?
No, I was going to say I'm not a big soccer guy, but it's big for that. But right now we're seeing a renaissance of the players that can't miss. When I think of Messi, I think of what Shohei Ohtani has been doing.
There's nothing like what we're seeing.
No, it's, I was like, I think this guy might be a little overhyped, but he's coming to it this year. He's coming to it. So, I mean, obviously it's kind of fitting that it's his free agent year. He's going into, where could he go? But what he's been doing is Ruthian at this point.
It is. And I could get into a whole big debate about this, but I think the Angels screwed the pony. Like,
they absolutely did.
Why did they go for this? And I would have got all the assets I could and recouped. He's out of there, and now you're stuck with you just traded for all these older dudes.
Yeah,
brought back CJ Crone and some other.
Was it Giolito or no? Or
Giolito is one too, and he's at 6 wall. It's like he's just a mess. All the trying to appease a guy that I don't think was really going to sign there. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they got some inside information. But
they have
they're not going to win.
Look at that point.
Yep, they're not going to win. But they're coming here in a couple weeks, end of August, so it'll be great to see. That was my biggest point. Talking about time. You're right. We're watching Ruthian things, Bonzian things.
Yeah,
different level.
Yep.
Awesome, Mark. Let's not make this gap again. Let's get back at it as football gets in the swing of things, and as we just get ready for our next big NFL season as 4th and Go. Let's get at it, and we'll see you again next week, everyone. Thanks for all the comments. I mean, we're up to so many in the user in the comment section, in the listener section. Thank you so much for checking in. And as always, we look out for you. We are the voice of the Philly fans. You fuel us. You make us want to do what we do every night. So we appreciate it. And that's why we are Philly 4-for-4 plus so much more. Mark, until next week. Let's do it. All right. That's Dave. That's Mark. I'm Dave. Heat Ratio Sports Network. Until next week, 7 good days, and we'll talk more sports. Later.